Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
A lovely day.
Welcome back. It is 9:21. Little bit of change on this 18th day of August. It's a Friday in downtown Alton. Stella and Jody, Soul Sanctuary and Spacious Expression. Just one expression. We talked about that earlier. How are we doing this morning?
We're doing good.
Doing great.
Yeah.
So this is great. Right off the bat, I was just going through Facebook, and I manage the community calendar on RiverBender, so I always try to go through and see what's going on, and I kept seeing so many of your guys' events online and figured, this women's circle sounds awesome. Let's get you on the show and let's promote this a little bit. And Stella, you're with, oh my goodness, don't do the Soul Sanctuary. It's
Yes.
still 9:22. Give me some time, folks at home. And, take me through right off the bat just how this partnership came about, and then we'll go into it a little bit further.
This is great. So at Soul Sanctuary, one of the things, we're a meditation center.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was having an outdoor meditation I'm in the Milton Schoolhouse, and I was having an outdoor meditation on their beautiful deck last year. It was about this time last year. And Jody came, and afterwards she came up to me and she's like, hey, would you like to do a women's circle? And it's funny because up to that point, I hadn't been doing anything like that, although it had been kind of in my mind. Mm-hmm. So I'll let her take from there.
So I had been thinking about starting a women's circle and was just on the search for that right person who had that physical space, because that wasn't in my wheelhouse. I didn't have that physical space. And I found Stella's meditation and was like, okay, got that feeling. I need to go and meet this woman. And from the moment that I asked the question, Stella was like, do you want to have coffee? And from there, we just created this beautiful connection together, and within a month, held our first women's circle.
That's fantastic. And then before we go into the event as a whole, take us through both of your individual businesses or organizations. Stella, right off the bat, take us through Soul Sanctuary. How'd you get that started?
So Soul Sanctuary it's because what we do is kind of different from anything else that's really out there. To start off with, I like to say that I don't see us so much as humans having a spiritual experience, but as spirits having a human experience. And we do all those things every day to take care of our physical bodies. We shower, we eat, we sleep, all this kind of stuff. But we seldom take the time to nourish our soul, to take care of our spirit. And if our spirit's having a human experience, that's kind of important. So that's where Soul Sanctuary comes in. Is we are there, we do meditation practices, sessions, public sessions. We have a free session every month, sometimes more than once.
Wow.
Yeah, we have focused meditations, but we also have private ones where people can come in and just have that. We have Reiki sessions, which is a Japanese form of energy healing, and I offer spiritual advice. I teach classes, different things like that, and we're getting ready to expand.
Oh,
so
good
we're really
for you.
excited. For this past week's Tuesday meditation, where it was a moon meditation, we had so many there that it was packed out in the space I have. So I'm excited to move into another space that's a lot larger for meditation and classes and to help facilitate others to do this kind of stuff too.
Well, and take me through that. I mean, being able to grow like that, and what you do is so much different than a lot of other, businesses. Both of you guys is you're helping folks, help themselves.
Exactly.
So how great of a feeling is it, knowing you're expanding and you started this journey and now here you are, and more people are utilizing this space.
It's a beautiful feeling. I love being able to do what I do because we often think we take care of our physical body, we take care of our mental, emotional, but we don't often think about taking care of our spiritual. But overall well-being isn't just the physical, or isn't just the mental, emotional, isn't just the spiritual. It's all three of them coming together. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful feeling to help people find that balance and find that center.
Absolutely. And before we go into spacious expression, I wanted to ask you a little bit more on this. What was your background before you decided to make make this jump? Was this something you were always invested in, or was this just something that, you just kind of conjured one day and said, I'm going to explore this?
Well, it's funny because I've actually, for most of my adult life, been a minister in some capacity or another. From the time I was in my early 20s, I was in the mission field down in Latin America. I've helped pastor a church on a military base in Panama when there was military bases down there, and all kinds of stuff like that. I've also served as a columnist in South America and just different things like that. But yeah, it's. I lost a son, an adult son, in 2017. And at that time, during that year, I really spent a lot of time trying to get back to that inner part of me that needed to be healed at that point. And in the process, somehow it just kind of developed into something that was, I knew this has always been my path, right?
Yeah.
And it just comes naturally for me sometimes, most times, every time. And so it's just one of those things that the way that I healed, the way that that I help others find their path and heal on their own way. We're all here to learn lessons, right?
Right.
And sometimes those lessons can be difficult. So it's good to have somebody to help you walk your path, and that's what I enjoy doing. So that's kind of how it came back about. Was I just jumped right back into being a minister and helping people on that level.
Without a doubt, that is incredible. And
Thank
talk
you.
about a great story too. I mean, really, it seems like everything you've done in your life has led up to this point. To be honest with you,
Kind of sounds weird, huh?
yeah, almost like the journey planned itself.
Exactly.
And with that being said, Jody, take me through Spacious Expression. How did this idea develop?
Well, this idea for this business came from my own lived experience. The purpose of my coaching business really is in helping women empower themselves to live through their authentic expression by releasing their addiction to substance and alcohol. And the way that we kind of work through that is through virtual online coaching in the group and individual settings, and then also these in-person connection points, because that's such an important piece of recovery. And with that being said, we've got 3 different avenues that we pursue each month. So I do a mindful use meetup, otherwise known as a sobriety circle, at Mava's once a month. We do a gratitude hike in nature at the Nature Institute once a month. And both of those are free and open to women in our local area. And then the next piece of that is the Women's Circle with Stella. And that is really providing that in-depth community support focused on connecting women together in the physical, emotional, and spiritual realms that Stella so eloquently pointed out is so necessary for our healing.
Yeah, without a doubt. And you mentioned something just now with the virtual aspect. And, I wanted to ask, because I've always been, kind of intrigued by the pandemic years, and how we've transitioned to webcams and virtual and Zoom. In your opinion, are you able to see more breakthroughs, or maybe more of those, light bulbs turning on whenever we're in person and having that human connection? Or does it vary for individual to individual?
I think that's a great question, CJ.
I never ask very many of those.
Well, you nailed it this time. I think that there is definitely some nuance behind that question, because it is individualistic, and it also tracks depending on where someone is in their life. So yes, there are big light bulb moments.
Yeah.
And it's really beautiful to see in a one-to-one connection, which could happen in person or virtually. But there's also big light bulb moments that happen whenever we realize we're not alone and we're in physical space with one another.
Yeah.
And so it's a definite energy exchange, and it is different, but it is so accessible in both platforms.
Without a doubt, you're absolutely right. And take me through when you founded the organization, when you founded your business. What year was that?
I am coming up on 2 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Getting out of year one is always the hardest part, isn't it? And
Yeah.
then getting the groundwork going. And what'd you do before this? Before you started the business? What's some of your background, if you don't mind me asking?
No, I don't mind at all. So I've actually completely different. I've been living in the industrial scrap metal world, and this is more of a heart-centered project
Really?
for me. That it just lives on that heart plane as opposed to that monetary plane. So This
That is fascinating.
where I'm at. Yeah, definitely a different background from Stella, but in the very much the same way of a lived experience is what creates this passion.
Well, I can tell just you guys coming into studio, you girls coming into studio and sitting down with me, I can see the passion coming through, and you guys live the mission. You're living what you want to do to help empower women and help empower people to find their spiritual side and really help, their spiritual, wellness, because it's needed. Now, with that being said, this is a great partnership, and I can see kind of how it just went kind of symmetric, it just kind of happened. Here we go. It's 9:31. Can you hang out with me for a couple of minutes?
For sure.
I got to pay a bill. It's the 18th day of August. Our conversations with Spacious Expression. I don't know why I keep saying spatial. No, it's not. And Soul Sanctuary. I promise I'll figure out how to do my job next in downtown Alton.
Spacious Insurance Agency, providing quality products with extremely competitive prices. As an independent provider, we source multiple companies to offer the best rates possible, covering auto, home, business, and life insurance. Our goal is to provide quality service that meets and exceeds customer expectations. You can rest easy knowing the Spacious team is working round the clock to ensure that both you and the most important parts of your life are covered. Our qualified professionals make the insurance process easy so you can live carefree and focus on what matters most. Visit MaciasInsuranceAgency.com today to find out what our team can do for you.
For the biggest selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in the Riverbend, visit AltonToyota.com or stop by their location on the Homer Adams Parkway in Alton. Winner of the prestigious President's Award, Mungan Burkhardt Alton Toyota knows how to treat their customers, and they will help you find the vehicle that is perfect for you. For years, Mungan Toyota has been a fixture in the Riverbend, and now Mungan Burkhardt carries the tradition. New name, but the same great service you've come to expect.
I set the thermostat so my house would be warm when I got home from work, but the kitchen is still cool.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we stand behind every Linux system we sell.
My dealer said he'd take care of everything.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we understand everyone wants prompt, professional service.
Turns out it wasn't my furnace after all, just a little something blocking the vent.
Pretty smart dog if you ask me. For service you can count on, call Barrett Heating and Cooling.
Lennox. Innovation never felt so good.
Has free checking become a thing of the past? Not if Liberty has anything to say about it. With 3 free personal checking options and even a free business checking account, free is alive and well at Liberty Bank, the local bank that gives you free checking choices and more cashing in your pocket. Bank locally, bank Liberty. For more information, visit www.bankliberty.com.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ and RiverBender.com. Welcome back. A little bit of Elvis at 9:34. Nothing wrong with that. Maybe. We'll see. Let's see. Conversations with Stella and Jody, the Women's Circle, once a month, correct?
Right.
I'm off to the races today. Normally I forget something in a commercial break. And I'm sure that you both have met so many great people going through their journey in life and really being able to help them kind of start that process or maybe take a whole new look at themselves through a whole new lens of life. And so I'll start with you. You don't have to give me any names or any personal information, but has there been a story or success story that you've had that you just go, you know what, this was really meant for me?
I love that because while I was a columnist in South America, I also worked with a women's organization down there and had my own organization of helping victims of domestic abuse and stuff like that get into safe spaces and stuff. And
can I ask you one question? Not to cut you off, but how is it? How are the resources? I could only assume. How are the resources for victims of domestic violence in Latin America or in South America compared to here?
No.
Really?
No. I mean, it's better now, especially in certain areas. It's starting to come about, but it's a whole different frame of mind. The mindset is completely different. But while I was down there, and I was invited into certain areas in New York as well to help domestic violence victims to kind of see what was going on, help them to get out, to create better lives, that kind of thing. And it just so happens that I had one of my clients came in to see me, and she came in bruised up, beat up, all kinds of stuff, and I just had her come in, sit down, and I looked at her, I was like, what's going on? And by the end of that, we this conversation, we went and we reported the incident. We had that taken care of on that level. And then little bit by little bit, she kept seeing me on a regular basis, and she is absolutely shining now. She's in a safe home. Her and her child, they're in a safe and beautiful home. She's building a beautiful life on a physical level, on a mental, emotional level, and on a spiritual level. She's in a whole different place now, and that's what I love seeing. I love seeing that kind of turnaround for people. And I told her when it happened, and she was in such a really beaten down place on a lot of levels, right? And I told her, I was like, give it 6 months. Give it 6 months. It's not even been 6 months. And she's in a beautiful place now. That's the kind of stuff that I live for.
To me, there's no price tag that even could equate that. Is just knowing that, I don't have words for that. It almost made me tear up a bit, but it shows how important that your two roles are in a woman's life or anybody's life, really, and how beneficial this, relationship could be for so many people. And, with that being said, Jody, have you had anything kind of similar to what Stella experienced, or had any a story that you've had with maybe an individual that you realized that this was for you too?
I so appreciate Stella's reflection and it kind of opening the door to having this conversation about how recovery can look so different and it is so valuable. What the story that comes to mind for me is about a woman I've worked with recently. We actually wrapped up our container yesterday. I met her about a year ago in a group setting virtually, and she was very shy, very closed off, but was searching for a way to start interacting in a way that felt healthy and good for her, but she didn't know where to start, so she just took a first step. And that first step landed her in one of my group settings online. And we, over the next 8 months, saw each other every week in a group setting where we discussed what was happening, how things were feeling, different ways to approach building confidence, building internal safety, building boundaries.
It's a big one.
And it is the foundation of everything.
In your opinion, really?
Yeah.
I could see that. I really could. Internal boundaries, maybe external boundaries too, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because internal boundaries really align the focus for setting the stage for external boundaries. And whenever we show up in honor of our internal boundaries and we keep those promises to ourselves and we check in, it sets that stage for awareness whenever they're being crossed in the external plane. Yeah. So over those 8 months, her and I really hit it off, and she reached out to me for a one-on-one to kind of go a little bit deeper into this place because she was seeing immense success in releasing alcohol and the result that was having, and feeling so uplifted in the group setting, but she wanted to go a little bit deeper. So we opened up that one-on-one container, and her and I met every other week for an hour to an hour and a half, just depending on kind of what was needed to get spoken of, held. Mm-hmm. And through that time, I witnessed her just by being met in a safe space that was encouraging for the life that she was building for herself, empowering for the decisions that she was wanting in her life. I saw this beautiful transition from this place of shame to celebration of who she was. Wow. And how that deeply affected all of the relationships in her life.
That's just incredible. And I mean, talk about an opportunity for so many individuals to really share a space together with this woman's circle. I mean, this is really the culmination of all those feelings and having those opportunities. Because with one thing you said is that first step. Because to me, as somebody that they all know this, went through, crisis 7 years ago with my business closing, taking the first step's the scariest thing in the world because you're changing the way of life that you knew, and you're going to take this risk and you don't know if it's going to help you. Is it going to make you worse? And to have two advocates, and that's really who you guys are advocates. I mean, you aren't just sitting here, here's some material, I want you to study it. I mean, you're getting to know the person. You're getting to know all the aspects of what makes them them and creating this, version that is really just embracing, so many new aspects of life and spirituality and being able to excel and just enjoy too. And just the word enjoy is so much more needed today than it was yesterday, it seems like. That's just my thought.
100%.
And now take me through this women's circle, because I could talk to you girls all day long. I think, I don't know how this happened, but I think I stumbled upon interview of the week. Because I thought, this is so unique. And then just to hear your stories of who you are as people and, just some of the work that you have already accomplished is just incredible. So take me through the women's circle, give me the dates for it, the overview, and then I'll ask some more topical questions for it.
Well, thank you. So the Women's Circle meets at Soul Sanctuary on the fourth Tuesday of every month.
Okay.
And we ask for a $25 donation, but like a lot of the services that are offered at Soul Sanctuary, if we never want money to be a factor for why you're not getting what you need from one of our services. And so we ask for a $25 donation, and that goes toward helping us to do what we're doing. But if you can't afford that, then you pay what you can, and then still come out. And it starts at 6. And when you're in the circle, well, I'm going to let Jo take it from here because she's really good at giving those details.
Sounds good.
We kind of flow back and forth.
Yeah.
We know each other's gifts and stuff, and that's how it works.
Just like in life, your strengths, your balances, and that way you can achieve more together, right?
Exactly.
100%.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
We're very much a practice what we preach group. And so thank you, Stella.
Of course.
With the layout of the group, we come in, we spend some time just kind of doing like a gentle check-in. We build an art piece together every circle, and then we kind of get started with setting the boundaries, the expectations of the container, really creating that safe and supportive space. And then once we dive in, there's a variation of group discussion, movement, journaling, there's an educational piece, and then there's always an element of meditation that's involved. So that way we can really integrate go through all of those three pieces. We go through the physical or the mental piece, the emotional piece, and then we integrate with the physical piece in a very spiritual environment.
That is really cool. And to me, is I'm one of the people that might talk about something and then feel better about kind of hearing that being a part of the discussion, but then maybe a couple of seconds later my anxiety starts to peak up a little bit because it's like, did you really just open up in front of all these people? That meditation aspect of it is the perfect balance for maybe somebody that's new to kind of opening up to the group and being part of one, and then having that kind of, at least that tool and that resource to help keep us balanced and help get through those, maybe that first woman's circle, nerves that set in.
You hit the nail on the head, CJ. We very intentionally layered our approach, so that way if there was any part where someone didn't feel comfortable to participate, it is definitely not mandatory, and that they have the freedom to jump in when and if it feels comfortable.
Wow.
Part of our container is that, first of all, we call it a circle on purpose.
Yeah.
Because what we want is not for it to be that ladder of everybody stepping on each other to get someplace, but to be in a circle, everybody is equal, right?
Yep.
There's nobody in front, nobody behind, nobody over, nobody under, right? We all stand there and we're all holding each other. And we're not there to fix each other. That's not what it's about. It's about allowing a safe space for people to be seen, to be heard. And that's what's important. Yep. For both of us, what we do and what is our passion, it's about allowing ourselves to create a circle and other services where people can reach their highest potential.
Yeah.
And that means creating a safe space for this kind of events.
Well, and like what you just said, opening up and just being able to talk to somebody. In today's climate, it seems like there's more and more people, and especially younger people and younger women that are feeling kind of disenfranchised because they don't have that group to talk to, or they don't feel like they have a platform to speak about how they truly feel. And that's just the truth of it. And to have this is a great resource for our community.
It's great because the ages of the women who come to our circle can be anywhere. I mean, we've got the span span of from very young to older. I mean,
That's incredible.
I might be I'm 54, and I might be one of the older. There might be somebody older. I don't know, but it spans that whole thing. It's for everybody, and it's about being there for each other and having the youthfulness and the wisdom that they have, along with every point in between, all the way to the old people. Right.
The experience the experience of anyone that's older's lives in those group discussions can really help shape the path of a guy. It goes hand in hand with everything. It's very symmetrical, this woman's circle.
Exactly. And it's not,
it's cool.
It's something we really don't have. For women, we've been so isolated. We're in these four walls of our house for so long, right? Mm-hmm. And we're isolated. We don't have people to talk to. But in this kind of a circle, it allows us to be outside and to interact with others and to get the wisdom of the older people, but yet still be able to have the wisdom of the younger people and everybody in between, you know? Yeah.
Without a doubt. And that's why I think this is truly so important. And if you guys are missing out on this conversation or just tuning in, it will be available at 11:30 this afternoon on demand. I say afternoon because I'm up at 4, so, I just say 11's the afternoon. But we're talking about the Women's Circle. Now, this takes place on the
fourth Tuesday of every month. It'll be this Tuesday at 6 o'clock at Soul Sanctuary at Milton Schoolhouse.
And now we're at in Milton.
So when you come in over by Mavis, you go downstairs, and Soul Sanctuary is down there.
Perfect. I told you, girls, I said, 15, 20 minutes we'll talk. And then 30 minutes later, here we are. But whenever you have a great conversation, you keep it going. And I'm sure you experience that in the Women's Circle, too.
Oh, yes. Definitely.
Without a doubt. And for more information, you can go to the Soul Sanctuary or Spacious Expression Facebook pages. They are online. Or you can just check out the event page itself. Coming up this Tuesday, August the 22nd at 6 p.m. right there at Milton Schoolhouse. It's the Women's Circle, and it's going to be a great one at that. Thank you both for stopping by today, and the best of luck. Anytime you want to come back on, more than welcome to.
Thank you so much, CJ, for having us. Thank you.
No problem. It's 9:47. We'll take this quick break, and we'll come back, wrap up the 9 o'clock hour. I almost forgot to talk. And then we'll come back in the 10 o'clock. We'll do top of the hour news, and we'll talk about the Cottage Hills VFW. They're bringing in that Global War on Terrorism Memorial Wall and having a very remembering and sobering week, and along with some ways that we can get out with the kids too. All those conversations come your way in the next hour or so right here in the heart of the 618.